Hey YouTubers, Chainsaw Freaks back again. This is part 3. So I've already stripped the pieces off that 070 cylinder for this 090 repower. So as you can see there, this is the carb, big chunky old carb, and they're really easy to tune, these ones too, really. And I have the bolts in for the carb this side already, and here's the muffler as well too. I've taken that off. I think you see in the screen here, there's a few of the components that go back on. There's a packer, some kind of packer that goes in between everything, and I'm not sure what that's made out of actually, like some kind of, I don't know, resinous polycarbon sort of thing. Anyway, it stands up to the heat, but there also is a heat shield that goes on first as well too. So that's one of the first things you got to put on, is this. And you can see there, it's got the little hole for the impulse hole. So that goes to the carb, which of course, if you know anything about chainsaws and the carburetors, that little hole is very important, because that supplies the carburetor with a pulse of air that pumps the diaphragm, which hits the metering lever that gets the fuel going out, and of course the engine sucking in air at the same time. So that's basically how a carb works. So you've got this gasket going on here. There's a gasket behind there, and a heat shield as well too, just a paper gasket. And then you've got the heat shield from this that shields the heat from this part of the engine. And then basically this goes on, and you just make sure, again, as you can see, it's got a hole, which is this one, the impulse line, and that just goes on this side here with the impulse line going through it, the impulse hole line. I call it a line because I'm used to talking that lingo with, I mean, the newer chainsaws don't have this hole that runs from the engine. They actually just have it's like a fuel line. It's just like what's on here. They have this kind of line, or like what this is, so that runs between the engine impulse hole and the carb impulse inlet outlet, and that's what they have. So now that's on, we just check that I'm not missing anything. I'm not missing anything. So you can see here, like, you can't get it upside down. That's the intake for the carb. You can clearly see that it's got the impulse hole there into the carb that leads into the diaphragm to pump it. And and just be careful on these Hutzl ones. I don't know what it's like on the genuine Stihl, but they've got a couple of rubber grommets in here, or whatever they're called, and just be careful not to lose them, because yeah, that can ruin your day pretty fast. I've had to search for them a couple of times now. I've taken this off and on 3 times now. I can't remember the other reason why I took it off a second time, but anyway, I think there was a problem with one of the bolts or the nuts that they supplied, so I've actually put some different, more durable nuts on, I think. So anyway, this carb just goes straight on like that. Before I put this on, there's a couple of things I've already put in that I'll just show you by bringing it a bit closer. There is in here a rubber like anti-vibe thing that goes in there, so I've pushed that in there. And then there's this little toggle of the that is like your throttle control. It's kind of like your LA screw, really, because the carbs, I'll show you, like it gives you a little bit more gas just on idle. So the carb only has your high, is it high, low? How does it go? Yes, so this is your high and your low air mixture screws. So that little lever that I showed you down there actually joins onto the bottom of there. It fits behind this circlip here, and that just pulls gently on the choke there to give you just a little bit more. Just a little bit more or less air, I think. Yeah, because it controls the choke. So that's what that does anyway. It's kind of like your LA. Oh no, here's your LA here. My bad. Right. So this just controls your air a little bit more. To have that open at the ideal sort of opening. Puts a bit of tension on there. But yeah, here's your LA here. Sorry, it's up here. You're probably all screaming at me, no, it's got an LA, I can see it. So anyway, that's wind in. You don't need to wind that one in too far, I've found with this, it just tends to run, but then again, that was on the old cylinder, so never mind. So anyway, this just slides onto here. So that's that polycarbonate bit has a gasket either side of it as well too. Now here's the tricky thing that I don't like about these, and I found it really frustrating, is that they have a washer and a nut that goes in this gap here, and this gap is really tight, and so you've got to get this in there and start the nut with bugger all room, and I find it a real pain in the bum, but never mind. That is the way it is on these. That is the way it is. So I will try to attempt to get this on. If it takes too long, I'll probably cut the video and come back with them on, because you don't want to watch 5 hours of me struggling with this. So I've just got a little 10mm spanner, the 10mm nut, and I just put that in there like that, and then I just hold that nut there with my little screwdriver, and then I just hold it there while I try to get it to start on thread. And by some small miracle, I've done it straight away. Usually I'm in here for ages, or it feels like ages anyway, screaming at this thing because I can't get these on. But maybe because it's done, I've done it the third time now that it's finally going on properly. I don't know. But everything just seems to be behaving at the moment. So I'll just put that washer on again on that side. I might just tighten that side up again so I've got a little bit more thread to play with. Gold. Alright. Oh great, see, and I'll drop the washer, see? Then I just have to get it out of here. I can't get my big fingers in there. Oh, the other thing that I was supposed to say before is just make sure that's in, and then it's hanging out there so it's not going to go in there. And I got it stuck down in between that rubber one time, I think, and it was just like the most terrible thing in the world. Maybe that's why I had to take the carb off the second time. I think that is, because I had to take the carb off to get it to hook it out. Otherwise it meant that I had to take the whole flywheel off again, take the head off, split the cases again. It was, yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was a big learning curve. I just about cried, but I got over it. So anyway, the other trick is to make sure these cables are outside on this side of the carb. Don't leave them hanging over here, because later on when you put in the pillar, the trigger for the pillar, yeah, it gets pretty hard and fiddly to move everything around. So this one actually needs to go right up in here, and that one that one is actually tucked the wrong way. So we're going to tuck that underneath there and bring it around. So leave your spark plug lead off to the side of the flywheel, and leave this one dangling out the back here, because this is going to connect to the earth where on-off switch, okay, for killing the engine. Right, back to where I was. Just put this on here. The old tuning screwdriver. I use this for so many things. This tuning screwdriver. It's my little holder of things and scraper, and I don't know, it's one of the handiest tools I have. There's a few, I've done videos on tools that I've got and stuff like that before, I think, but yeah, that's so handy. Alright, now I can hold that again, and just slowly thread that on there. Please go on there. Yeah, it's going on. I did both sides. And just about the first go, except for that washer falling off. It's incredible. Man, I should let you guys watch what I do more often. I seem to be doing it alright. Usually it's like hours of crying, frustration, and throwing things. Not throwing things, I don't throw things, but you know, I was just saying. That's what it feels like though. So anyway, you crank these up, tighten all those gaskets down together, and you are away. That is that side pretty much hooked up. And this means that Steve will be super soaked, because we're getting just about to the end of his chainsaw being ready for use. He's only used it once because that flywheel coming off, and he brought it back to me and he's like, look what happened. And I was like, oh man. Anyway, he got in contact with Hutzl, because this is a Hutzl. Sorry, let me get my hands out of the way. And they were really good. Sort of no questions asked from what he said, and they just sent him the replacement parts, which is the new crank and the new section of flywheel, which I'm going to have to take off the outer of the flywheel and put the magnets on the inside of the new piece of the flywheel. So that was really good of Hutzl to do that for Steve. He was super stoked. I'd say he would buy off them again. He's if you've seen some of my videos, the 440, it's an MS, I think. That is a Hutzl as well too, and that's Steve's. He bought this saw and that 440 at the same time, and that 440 is going really well. I don't think he's had any problems. I haven't had it back, so he hasn't had any problems so far. Alright, I'm really happy with the tightness of that on there. I'm just going to have a quick look around it, just to make sure everything is sitting pretty good underneath. So, the last few things I do for this is to connect the fuel line up again, just in underneath there. And that just loops around that handle and goes back in there. Let's make sure that's pushed down. And then just off that choke lever, I'll just get that, sorry guys, I'm going to have to spin it around for a second. Spin it around. No, again, right around. Baby, right round. Right, where are you? just going to get this circlip off here. I put it back on here because I didn't want to lose it. Because it's just tiny. I'll just grab one side of it. It is fiddly, this one. Fiddly. Fiddly, fiddly. Probably one of the more fiddly parts of this saw. Scared it's going to flick off and go somewhere where I can't find it. Then I really will be crying. It's not too bad. It's just gone behind the vent there. Right, so I'll pick that up, put that down in a safe place on the bench where I won't flick it off onto the floor. You're right. And then I'll just put that there. I'll turn it back around for you guys to see. So, see that little lever there? It actually connects up to this part in here, and that goes on to just leave the choke open a bit, I think, and close it off or hold it closed, something like that. I'm not 100% sure what it does actually, but once it's on there, yeah, so it holds it closed. So it's just a spring to hold the choke closed, because there's another part of the choke that, hang on. Sorry, I just dropped the muffler gasket. Anyway, so there's a choke lever that you can pull in and out to open the choke up, and so this just springs it back for you. That's all it is. And it's just tensioned by this mechanism in there that I showed you before. It's all springed up, so that's what that does. So before I lose anything else, I'll just whip this little circlip back onto here again. And it just holds that choke spring on, choke spring lever. Right, that is on there. I'll flick it around, bring it up to the screen. You can see that in there. On. So cool. That part's done. And fuel line is in. So, where to from here? There's lots of things we can do. Lots of things we can do. Oh, the muffler would be the obvious one, actually. The muffler would be the obvious one. So I'm just going to stick this back on now. Oh, hang on. I'll put these studs in the front. So, there. These just go in here. And you cannot see really. Oh, yep. Okay, so these just go in here. I put the short ends into the cylinder. There's short ends and long ends on these screws, and I put the short ends into the cylinder. That just makes sense to me for I don't know what reason, but it's something you don't get instructions on these. So when I first did this, I was like, which end goes in? I don't remember if it was process of elimination or just a wild guess, or that made the most sense, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I decided to do, and it seems to work. So now we will put this gasket on. Exhaust gasket goes on. like that. And then the exhaust, it's got the holes there, just slides on like this. Right, and then there's the same scenario again. These were actually supplied with nylock, not on the exhaust nylock. So there's like little nylon bits in there that just got melted hard with the exhaust. So they're not really nylock anymore, but yeah, they're on there. Nylock is truly melted. Have I got mine? Yeah, I was just checking the compressors off because I don't want that to go on while I'm making a video. That would kind of suck. This one's hard to get to in here, so just line up my screwdriver with the washer. Just created like a little bit of a bridge onto the screw. That's all magnetic, so it sucks and won't do what I want it to do. There we go. There we go. And I can put that side on with my little mini long socket. No, I can't because it doesn't fit. That sucks. So, basically back to my old tricks. What I did on the side. So, get the sorry, just trying to position better so you can see what I'm doing. Get the nut on there. This is tedious, eh? I'm so glad to still have torque drivers now, because nuts and bolts in tight places are just really tedious, it seems to me. So that just goes on with your little mini spinner. Open in, open in spinner. I doubt you'd get a ratcheting spinner in there, it's just so close and tight. Don't know if you can see me fiddling around in there. I think that, yep. That's basically what's happening with that. And I'm just finishing that with the, yeah, that's going on nice. Alright, around to this side now. Wind it on by hand a bit. Just let that. This is the easier side. Probably notice I don't torque anything. I don't have a torque wrench or anything like that. Probably should get one. Probably should find out torque specs and all the rest of it. But I don't really have trouble with that kind of thing. So I don't know too much about it really, but like what I'm trying to say is that I just put things on until I feel they're nice and firm, not over tightened, just firm. See, that just got nice and firm there, and that really does it for me. Like, I don't see that one's just that, I don't know, it's just a certain point where I just know, that's pretty good. it's not like you're hanging off it and wrenching on it. It's just a nice tightness, and that's just firm, and you can just feel it pull up, and it's good. All right, so that is that. So you've just witnessed me putting on the carb side, muffler side. So this engine is virtually ready to go. It's got the fuel plugged in. All we need now is the handle on the back. We need the flywheel side done. So that means that I'm going to have to take that flywheel to bits, and then we need the clutch back on this side and the cases back on, because it's a little bit naked right now. So how about I put this down, and we will bring that flywheel out and swap over the parts for it, and that can be part of this video, and then I'll end it there. And we'll come back and do the rest of it in another video. So there's the flywheel there. This is the one that's still got the broken part in. I don't know if you'll see it in there, but I ground out heaps in there, but enough to leave signs of where the key is, so I could see where it goes, where it lines up. And then this is what Hutzl sent Steve. This is the new bit in there, and that'll just go inside there again. So here we are, back to the good old Torx, which they do use on these saws, just not for the cylinder bolts, which is kind of strange to me, but I guess it's just the way everything fits up. So just quickly, out come the 4 screws, and they don't have washers. As you can see, Hutzl put blue Loctite on everything for you. Everything. So this is the flywheel that came off. I don't really know why it came off. Maybe it was me, maybe I didn't tighten up the bolt enough, I don't know. I thought I did. But it was pre-rattle gun, before I had my rattle gun. So maybe I didn't have it tight enough. Maybe this flywheel was sort of out of alignment or something, and it just rattled its way off. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really know why. Steve doesn't really know why either, I don't think, from what he said. So that just comes apart like that, and you've got the 2 pieces of this flywheel. Too easy. Alright, so that's the busted one over there. Like, in my opinion, you can still use this. Like, I had it on there and working before, but Steve got the new ones from Hutzl, so let's put the new ones on. That's what he wants. Alright. And so you just line up those holes again. It doesn't matter where they go, which side, because the thing is that the key in the flywheel locates for timing, not the outer flywheel. So you don't have to worry about any of that. So you just put them back in again. I just like to, one of the things I probably do is I don't screw everything down. I just like to put the screws in to get locations for everything. So you've got location, so you know everything's going to screw down. So like, you don't want to go all the way with one screw and then realise that the rest of the holes don't line up or something like that, you know. And I'll just probably do a bit of a cross pattern on these as well too. That's how I usually like to do things. So I'll jump over to the side of this one. Mind that right now. Slip it around. And then I'll jump over this one. just ensures that evenness again. I don't know if it's that important on a flywheel like this, but it's just the way I do things. And that one's down. So this is the one I started on first. I'll go back to that one first and tension it right down. And that one's down. So that one. That one. That one. That one. I'll just come back and check them. That one's good. That one needs a bit more. That one's pretty good. Just that nice tension again. You don't want to over tighten anything. And there you go. There is the flywheel back together. Too easy. So this now has to go on there. And it's got a little collet. It fits in there as well too. Little spacer. Goes in there. And that all goes onto the flywheel after that. Or does that collet fit in? No, it doesn't. Yeah, that collet fits there like that. Yep. Yep, it does. So that is that, and that is the end of this video. So remember to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. But for now, Stihl for life. See you.